so today we're doing zucchini bread. It'll be real fast. I'm going to start off with the first ingredient. So you need a cup of white sugar and a cup of brown sugar that's already been mixed. After that, you need a cup of butter. So make sure that the butter is already kind of softened. So you're going to put in the 2 sticks of butter, which is a cup. That's a cup, right? And that's going in there with a cup of brown sugar. This should make about 3 loaves, 2 to 3 loaves. So that's going in there with a cup of brown sugar and a cup of white sugar, and then you have a cup of butter. Next, you're going to go ahead and put in the vanilla flavoring. It's 3 teaspoons. I'm using imitation vanilla because the heat would just literally kill the taste on real vanilla. So I'm just going to use 3 teaspoons of 3.5 teaspoons since it's imitation vanilla. Okay, so after that, you're just going to go ahead and mix up the 1 cup of sugar, the 1 cup of brown sugar, the 1 cup of butter with the 3.5 teaspoons of vanilla flavor, and you're going to mix that up until it's all incorporated. Get it mixed up real good. Okay, so once you got it mixed up, you're going to go ahead and add, let's see, 4 eggs. If you get any shells in there, you can take them out.
That's 4.
That's 4?
Mm-hmm.
You sure?
1, 2.
Okay. So go ahead and mix the 4 eggs up into the batter. Get them incorporated real good. Watch the eggs. You're going to mix that up a little bit more. Then you're going to scrape it from the side. And just get it mixed up real good. Okay. So now we'll go ahead with the dry ingredients. We already have 1 cup that ended up there. We're going to go ahead and put the dry ingredients in the separate. Make sure you mix all the dry ingredients separate. So you're going to put 3 cups of flour. Okay, after that, you're going to go ahead and add the baking powder and the baking soda. So you're going to use a teaspoon of baking soda. Then you're going to use, say, about a teaspoon of baking powder. And you can put in a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, depending on how you want it. Okay, so we're going to follow that up with about 3.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. And just make sure that they're level teaspoons. And then you'll just put about a quarter of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Not a lot, just a quarter of a teaspoon. Okay. So once that's done, you're gonna go ahead and mix up the dry ingredients with the spoon. You don't want to use your hand because the ingredients are going to stick to your hand. So you want to get those all mixed up with a spoon. So far in one bowl you should have your cup of butter, which is the 2 sticks. You should have a cup of brown sugar and a cup of white sugar. In another bowl you should have your 4 eggs and then the 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract. In this bowl that's being mixed up now, you should have your 3 cups of flour, the teaspoon of baking soda and baking powder, about a quarter teaspoon of salt, 3.5 teaspoons of cinnamon, the nutmeg, which is about a quarter teaspoon. And you're gonna get that mixed up real good. And you put the nutmeg in there, right? So after that's done, you're gonna mix the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients. You're just gonna pour it all in there. And what you wanna do the first time around is mix it all up with a spoon before you put the blender in there, because the ingredients will just go flying everywhere. So you just wanna mix them with a spoon to get some weight to it. And then you're gonna add a cup of milk. It could be buttermilk, 2% milk. Now we're gonna do 1 loaf plain and then another loaf with pecans in it. Or we're gonna do probably 2 loaves with pecans in it and 1 loaf plain. So you're gonna go ahead and mix that all in there. Okay, so after that, you'll just mix everything up. And make sure you do an ingredient checklist. Okay, so you can go ahead with the mixer now. Just scrape all of it from the spoon and then go ahead with the mixer. And we'll come back once it's all mixed up. So this is what it should look like once the dry ingredients and the wet ingredients all mixed up. It should be that consistency. Okay. It should look just like that. So now we're gonna go ahead and put in the 3 cups of zucchini. And don't use too much zucchini, because if you do, it's gonna be real dense and maybe even have a hard time rising. So you're gonna use 3 level cups of zucchini. That's good. And then you're just going to mix it until it's all incorporated. Get stuff moving. So again, remember, like I said before, we're going to be doing 2 pecan loaves and 1 plain. So the butter wrappers that I told you all that you can come in handy, we're going to use this and pan. So you're going to wipe the butter wrappers inside each of the pans all over. Just 1 per pan. And do the next one. And then the rest of it, you're just gonna go ahead and spray them with some cooking spray. You can just use butter if you want. Make sure you get the sides, the corners, everywhere. I mean, sometimes that should be enough, but then put a pinch of flour in there in each one of the pans. I mean, that's what I do. You don't have to do it this way. If you don't want it to have a flour coating, struck it all in there. And then you're just gonna kind of move it around. Yeah, just kind of move it around and pour the rest in there. You're just gonna kind of move it around until it coats the sides. You don't want any thick clumps of flour in there. This is just to keep it from sticking. It's like a extra insurance that it's definitely not gonna stick. But if you have some good non-stick cookware, we're using pans that came from the dollar store, so we just want to be on the safe side. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add the zucchini mixture. And you're going to fill them up, I would say about half high. Just make sure they're distributed evenly. Okay. So that's the first one. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and add the pecans. We're using Planters pecans. You can use whatever you got. And just kind of stir it up with the spoon. You don't have to get the mixer or anything. Okay, so once you got that off, this may make more than this may make. Okay, so once you got all that mixed up, you're gonna go ahead and pour it into the pans. Okay, then the next one. Now the oven should have been preheated at 325. If you didn't preheat the oven, it's still not too late. I mean, you can rewind, fast forward this video. What about the rest that's in there? Mix it with the other pecan loaf. How much is left? Enough for one more or what? It is? Okay, so we're gonna end up doing 4. Because you can see we have a lot more left. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pop these in the oven. You're gonna go 325. Okay, here we are 55 minutes later, 325 degrees. This is what it should look like. Should be like a golden brown color. And when it's done, you wanna take the knife and stick it in the middle. And make sure you don't get any type of residue that comes out. You see it comes out clean. And then run it along the side just to separate it. If you're using an aluminum pan, don't poke a hole in it. And then after that, you're just gonna turn it upside down on a plate and just kind of flip it out and turn it back right side up. And then this is what it looks like. So you're gonna take some butter and brush the top of it. And then when you cut it, you should have this, you cut it in whatever slice you want, but it should be that consistency, it shouldn't fall apart. Okay, so make sure you just like the video and subscribe. I'll be uploading some more. And these are real easy, simple things you can do with whatever you got laying around. You don't need all the fancy equipment. Just bear with us with what we're using. Okay?